Phenomenal, to be honest, I never thought would be possible in my lifetime. This is, to be honest, very magical when you experience it firsthand. And today we're gonna cover, um, the design thinking of building software. Because when you say now, building software is purely natural language where you can just type what you want, it gives you. It still doesn't remove that you will still need to know what you're asking. And so understanding this, how software used to be designed, or it's still anyway, we still design software and all these things. Rather, how software gets designed, it's very important so that you're able to structure your prompt in the correct way, right? The prompt, is where now the magic happens. So, and today we'll be seeing how to do that, and it is not just the normal webinars we've been doing. So today it's more of design thinking, system thinking, combined to see how now we can get the most out of the AI. So today we will see how can we think like a software designer. How do we write prompts that produce better software? How can we build now a complete system and deploy it, of course, without writing code? That's the objective for today. So today is quite different, and why you should stick around until the end so that we can get to experience this firsthand. As we've said, a bad prompt gives you a bad outcome, a bad result. So even when it comes to prompting to get a software, your bad prompt will give you average software. If the prompt is great, it's gonna give you a great software. So, and how do you create great software? Of course, you've said you need to have a great prompt, but then how do you get a great prompt? You have to think with the business at hand. Now you have then to understand what's the anatomy of a business in general, but then you ask yourself, what's the anatomy of the business that I have at hand? Maybe it's a salon, it's a restaurant, it's a butchery, it's a supermarket, whatever, it's a warehouse. All businesses, I would say all, have customers, they have processes, they have information and data, they have rules, and there's one way or the other, these reports, whether it's consciously being done or not being done, these reports, right? So software is just these things organized into one system. So this is this is basic understanding, but very important. Okay, so very basic, but very important. So it's the same building. Then every business has now building blocks, which is people, transactions, you have products and services, you have payments to be done, there's notifications, there's reports, right? So there's flow of information, there's communication in between. All these things have to communicate in one way or the other. People have to communicate with products and services, payments, transactions, and people could be employees, customers, whatever, all that, so for example, for let's say logistics, you have drivers, you have all these, you have fulfillment, you have customer service, you have people receiving things in the warehouse, all that, payment notifications, all that. So you need to think like a system designer. A system designer is, and when we say system, software is just one type of a system. Even a manual process is a system. So when you think of system, software is a representation. Now we want to represent this system in a more cohesive, seamless, and in a way that it's persistent, it has all this. That's what software gives you. But even a manual system is a system. So everybody has a system, even if they don't know. But have you done it in a way that it's systematically designed, right? And now our prompt really should be a system written now in words, so that now the AI can make the system, can write the code. So, but these are the key questions we need to ask ourselves. Who uses the system? What information is stored? What actions happen every day? Very critical. What should happen automatically? For example, somebody pays. What should happen automatically? Let's say you're selling a digital product, a PDF. If they pay, then need to get the PDF immediately. Every day, what are the things happening? If it's logistics, every day there's a driver who has to drive, you know. So that you have to know those things. We will take example of a salon, for example. Let's design it together. You have users, owner. Users, you have the owner, you have the receptionist, you have the stylist, right? And then you have the customers, the appointments, the services, the inventory, payments, and reports, right? And the workflow would probably look like something like this. Somebody books, you know, create, assign, or you book somebody. It could be somebody gets booked internally by the team that is at the salon, or you can book on their website, but then it gets, yeah. So there's booking, there's assigning, then complete, pay, you get. So this kind of a sample flow of what a salon would look like, right? So I think I will, at this juncture, I'll invite Duncan to take us through, and then.
So we've talked about we've said that first you need to look at what do you need in the system. We talked about, of course, customers, the appointments, of course, now the staff, whatever employees, inventory, the payments, expenses. Also, I think that's also a very important feature. Of course, you need to know what's happening, and of course now the reports, the dashboard, where you can be able to see everything that's happening. So where do you start? So we pick it up from I mean, you'd like simply like what you can see here. Like there is this is what is on the screen. I mean, the suggested prompt in there. Build a recipe contest platform with submissions, judges, and voting cards view. So this would be a very nice way of probably now talking to the system. But now beyond now submissions, judges, and what else? I mean, you have to specify what I mean, like how do you want probably the submissions displayed, the judges, how they whatever, how they communicate with each other. So the more details you give, definitely now from the understanding of the business workflows is what will give you now the working I mean a more optimized system for your business. So for the salon management system, we would say let's build salon management system for the business. My business. So the next thing, of course, now you need to include in the prompt is definitely what modules should be there. What are the business departments what are the departments or the points of contact in the business? So so in this case, you would say include the following modules. Include the following modules because that's the most I mean the most important bit to start at. So so one, of course, you let's try to structure the prompt in a way that it is definitely orderly. I mean, just trying to ensure that everything is flowing well from the first point to the last one. So one, of course, we've said for a salon, of course, we definitely have customers, very important. Customers. Number two, appointments, should be able to see appointments, and of course now so for appointments, I mean, for customers, definitely you can also add like what is the customer's module supposed to do. One, of course, definitely capture customer data, and display. Definitely. So customer data, of course, now that one still you can go further and include what data would be there. The name, the name, maybe email address, phone number, of course, the service they're interested in, maybe their, their address and all that. So, but I mean, we can have it definitely like that. Of course, it will be able to pick the general customer, user data. For appointments, of course, now again the same thing. Code enable placing of appointments, or or creation of appointments. Cause enable creation of appointments. I think this sounds better. Appointments. Definitely for winners, of course, we expect there would be edits in, maybe in changing of scheduled times, and also now updating the status. Number 3, we have the other important bit, of course, is services again, which would involve of course display available services and allow adding new services and editing. Definitely. Can also have another module on I think we can have services, of course, payments. Though in this case, of course, we won't be able to like cover the two, but of course, we can just describe what we need to have for payments. So let's say enable recording of payments. Payments from customers. We can also add of course, I think this is very important, of course, the dashboard. Show current status of customers, appointments. Appointments would still, appointments booking the same thing. And of course now payments. And again, there's of course we can also add actually revenue, because you need to see exactly what if for this day what has been probably made in the business. Appointments, payments, revenue. Then of course we can also include so payments, expenses. Yeah, of course. Now I think it's also important to show. Probably now this one, of course, now will definitely enable the calculation of revenue to be more accurate. So add also expenses. So this one should show different expenses for business. So business, just so in a traditional way of really building a system, this is what this is the kind of information, of course, you would give to a developer and tell them that this is what I want each module to do. So now you're really talking to a co-worker AI, which now will be able to do the work, build the system for you from A to Z and give you the final outcome. So the more the more you specify whatever, the same way you really would converse with a human being, the same way you are now talking to the system. So you need to just give the very details which would really make it understand how your business workflows are. So I think also maybe something maybe like we can say probably ensure the system. I mean the application at first, of course, because we are talking of a web app. Of course, we need to ensure that it is responsive, can be viewed on mobile phone well, and of course now on desktop. Yeah, so I think we definitely for the modules you can have as many as you want, but of course now what matters is exactly how you really specify what each module does. So I'll go with this for a start. I mean for this session, and then you'll be able to see what the system does and if it captures exactly what we've specified for the system. So I'll click go and let it do the building. So it just started. I think I'm still having issues with my internet. So yeah, but of course you can see here is that if you look at the top here, you can see it is at 15%. It's proceeding. So we'll be able to see once we it goes all the way from you can see of the different planning of workflow, the database, permissions, and main finalizing. So once it's done, we'll be able to see what we've been able to give it, whether we have all our modules and whether they have the functionality, so to say, for what we have defined. So I mean, as it does that, I think probably can get it back to Joseph to maybe finalize on the other bit of the presentation as we
all right. Thank you, Duncan.
Yeah.
Let me finalize on this, and you can, I don't know, how do I make mine bigger? You can maybe stop sharing so that my presentation becomes the main focus for now.
Okay.
All right. Good. So as we said, we are creating, I think Dan has taken us through of this, so we can proceed from here. So of course, so we said it's for you need to think business process, and then so that you can think of the prompt can come, and it can be a great prompt. For this would be just an example. Build me a salon software. That's terrible. Something good would be build me a salon management system with a full feature set below. Customer records, then you can now write them. Appointment booking, staff management, inventory, whatever, you get role-based permissions. Yeah, so that's just an example. I think Duncan has taken us through. So it's also good that you create prompts that describe behavior. For example, update sales, deduct inventory, generate invoice, update reports, notify customer. You get so that AI is able to know exactly this process leads towards, what does this does, so that's important. So formula, if we were to break down the prompting into a framework or a formula that every time you write it, you ask yourself, has it ticked these boxes? What's those boxes? What would be those boxes? And I think it's shown on the screen. These are some of the boxes that I think would be mandatory. What's the purpose of that system? What are the users? What are the modules? And what are the workflows? And then on this other end, you have, do you need it to generate reports? What are the permissions? Like, for example, not maybe some systems, not every user has the same level of permissions, right? Even within company, if it's an internal software, there are people maybe you don't want to give access to everything, right? So that needs to be added. Automations, but what are the things that you need to happen automatically, right? And then dashboard. Dashboard is always, every system has a dashboard. It's the first thing you learn to, So if you there, you can notice, of course, we'll share the PDF. So common mistakes is the prompt is too short, missing workflows, missing user roles, no reports, no permissions, no automation. Is give me a school management system. Like seriously, we don't know. This AI will not figure out your school for you. You need to tell it, this is the name of the school, this is how we operate. We have streams from nursery, kindergarten, class 1 or grade, whatever, And then, like you need, even we have teachers, we have this, we have a cook, there's boarding, there's day school, day, like it has to know. Otherwise, it will assume maybe it's boarding, it's day, so it's very important. So you don't describe pages, you don't tell it this page, you tell how your business work, and then it's gonna figure out now once you tell it how your business work, it's gonna do the correct thing. So of course it's your turn. You need to go to Ndovesha, think about your business, write your prompt, and start building. But if I was to ask, what is the business system that you're really curious to build? Maybe that, of course, you have a pain point. A system should be solving a pain point in your business. Maybe there's too much. You can't track inventory. You can't track your stock. Then you need an inventory system. Or, in a restaurant, you need many modules. So again, it's the same thing. You are not able to track your suppliers who bring cabbages, somebody who brings potatoes, all those items you don't even know when they get to end. So you need a system to solve that. So it's not about also just creating systems for the sake of creating them. It's about you asking first also, do I have a pain point? And then what is the business process? And then now let me get the system. So I don't know, those of us who are here in the webinar, what kind of systems do we need to build? You can comment with the system you're curious to build here on the chat. Just write and then we can discuss further on probably. Maybe on the tail end, as Dan, once Dan takes us through the salon system, then we can discuss some of the prompts. Like we can say how to do prompts for some of those systems you want to build. So the future is that we don't just buy software, we actually create it. And this is capability that is now available to everybody. So that's all I have from my side in terms of presentation. I hope we've learned, and we shall be able to implement that in our businesses. I don't know, Dan, has the system finished?
Actually it's done. It's done.
Right.
So let me share my screen. So I'm sharing the wrong screen. So let me share my screen. So once we do once the process, of course, is completed by the coworker, this is what you be able to see from your from the chat. So of course, you were given the default admin logins here generated by the system, and also now, of course, you can change that, adjust that in the to login. So I'll publish. Of course, we also have some preview data in there just to really feel what you'd expect to have in the different modules. So let me publish, and then we get into the admin and see what modules have been included. So of course, even after publishing, you're able to see the different preview data. So I'll go to the live URL, which is here. And also to the admin console. Okay, so already logged me in, of course. Let me log in back again. I think it's already picked what we have here. So we use this default logins to access the admin, and so sign in. Sorry, which screen am I sharing? I'm sharing the. Okay. Let me share this. Sorry, so I should be sharing this one. So so I should be sharing this login screen here. So I'll use you've seen the provided admin logins which have been given to us for start off. So I'll use those two to just get into the system to see what modules we have. So I think based on our prompt, we have, because we have the dashboard, we have because you can see we have the customers module, we have the scheduled appointments, because I mean these are just of course figures which are there to hold just to show you exactly how things would look, even with your real data. So I think for example, let's go to the customer module and see what we have. For example, whether we are able to actually add a new customer. So if you go to adding a new customer, you can see just the basic information, the name, the email, of course, this the DOP, of course. I mean, this one you can really specify and have it removed. It's not part of what you'd want. Of course, actually, it's not even a record field. So we have the maybe notes here, probably what they would do. So the creation date, you can probably leave it as is, and let's save and see whether we can be able to book this customer into an appointment. Then so we can skip services, go to appointments, see whether we can book these. We have different customers in here, so let's see whether we are able to book a customer into the appointments. I don't think we have added a new customer. I don't know whether we're able to pick that. Let me just refresh. See whether the customer we added has been. Okay, it's not giving me the names definitely, but I can just go to appointment. Add a new one. See whether we are able to actually do the booking of an appointment. I mean, regardless of the customer display name. So we'll pick one of the customers. Of course, this one you can specify, have them displayed as the proper names. I think they are maybe probably that's not something specified. Then we have the services again here. You can pick. Of course, we'll go to the services and see whether we can still also add a service. Staff member, again, of course, you can specify this one to be like a drop down, of course, to pick the existing customer, staff member. So probably this one we can have a name like probably Duncan, and the date we can have tomorrow. Status of the appointment, of course, again here. Sorry, I think I just closed that. Sorry. So let me just pick and finish. So pick a service, because we specify a staff member in there, be Duncan, of course, the date again. Of course, now appointment time, of course. You can also again now specify again that this appointment time, of course, can be like a date picker. But of course now, because it's an input, you can just have it as maybe, let's say 9 a.m. And then the status here is scheduled, and then we also pick the creation date and save. So if we go back to the, I think this one is should be able to see that. Yeah, it's the first one here. You've added the new appointment. So we expect also the dashboard to pick that appointment. I don't know what was there before. There were 5. You can see we have 6. even the ones scheduled are also 6. So you're able to see the progress of the different modules. Then if we go to probably, let's say we want to also maybe record a payment again. You also go to that particular, you have the different payments here which have been recorded. So let's say now we have completed service and we want to probably capture a payment. Yeah, so definitely it will allow you to pick the appointment ID or even now or the customer name. So I think it's giving me different, but of course something which can specify and then display is the names we gave. Then the amount again, you can just probably say it's this is in dollars, say $20. Payment method again, you're also able to specify how did they make the payment. Is it cash, whatever card? So we can maybe say this one is mobile money, and also now status of the payment. Is it cleared? Maybe was it being done as a refund, and is it maybe already? Is it pending? So we can maybe record paid so that we can see whether we'll be able to see an update on the revenue on the other side. Then, cause date of payment, just keep it today. Yeah, so creation date, can just keep it same time and save. So I think we have it here. The first one, mobile money, and all that. So go back to the dashboard, see whether we have an update on the other one. Of course, was a payment. This one is recorded, of course, as of course the outstanding. Of course, let's just edit one payment here and keep it as pending so that we can see the status of the expenses. So we add how many pending. Yeah, there were 6 right now. There are 5. So you can see we have the outstanding payments going down. Then of course we can also look at the expenses again, see what you're able to do with that particular module, whether it really captures the business processes. So categories, of course, we have the different categories. These ones, of course, definitely you can add new or even now have them add them manually as you do the updating the amount, the date. So you can try maybe to add an expense for it and see. So this monthly and for example, then amount in dollars 200. It's being expensed maybe earlier in the month, paid by, of course, you can just capturing the data of who has made the payment. Set reference, of course, if it's available, and question date, and then you save. So to be able to also see that one captured in the expense display in there, it's the first one here saved. So we also need to see the dashboard. Do you have we have an additional expense? So they are right now 6, but of course now for the display for the dashboard, of course now you can specify and say you want to see the expense maybe in terms of amounts, real amounts, instead of just the count. So in the slots availability, of course, this is where I believe you manage the staff members. Yeah, sure. So the staff member, the date of the slot, they book. So that now, maybe if now you have, the system also includes maybe a customer booking system, they're able to see which staff member is available. I think that's how definitely that flow works for a salon business flow. So you can you can add a new staff member, the slot date, the start time again here, specify whether they are booked or not, and of course now give them an appointment again, now assign them to a particular customer, or of course now definitely a customer. So So yeah, so I think from this, I mean, from now what we gave, you can really see exactly what I mean, how you're able to like uh, really create a system, or rather a software which would really work with your particular business setup. But of course, now, as we have said, it really depends, or rather really rolls back to how exactly do you know how your business process flow. Because the I mean the better the if you're able to really give those steps or the instructions well to the coworker, it gives you exactly the modules you have specified, and also now the functionality, and now from there you're able to just have really I mean, I would say a custom kind of a system for your business, and you are able to really, I mean, make everything really work from, I mean, uh, make things easier to manage and run your business process, of course, in an automated way, so to say. So, I think I'll share the link to the app just in there, probably for those who want to you would want to explore and have a feel, definitely. But you can always try and generate yours from Ndovesha. Of course, you definitely get some credits to try for those who have not tried, and have a feel of what this would uh do for a business, any business scenario, or even your personal I mean personal work. So I think I'll pause at that point, so that maybe if you have any questions, yourself you can take, and we get to finalize. So take back to you, Joseph.
All right, thank you, Duncan. That was very well done. Yeah, questions? Anybody with question? Any question, any insight? Maybe just to comment, even as we. So of course, there's some integrations we are working on, because one thing
Yeah,
is also want
sure.
to be the system to be able to communicate. So we are
Yeah,
working on email integration, so that and number two is payments. Like for example, you want maybe you can prompt somebody just from the system maybe to pay using whichever, it could be M-Pesa. You can prompt. I don't know if it's like they can also maybe put a card. Also, you want maybe from the website, they can come all the way, and they're able to pay just from the system. Like they can create an account and then they pay inside. They don't have to. You get it. We are working on that. We just first wanted to release the main functionality, and then a few integrations are on the way to be released. But of course, we'll be releasing more and more integrations, because that's where the system becomes extremely functional, especially communication. We're hoping we do email, we do it with the SMS. We also do WhatsApp payments. Of course, for Africa, you want M-Pesa, you want, of course, Visa, Master, and of course, for Africa, there's just different payment gateways across different countries. So, of course, I think we'll start with Kenya and East Africa, and then we can move to other markets. Yeah, but we are working on that. But I think even just from this is so much value for just somebody who wants to get started with a system to organize their business. I think this is very powerful. This is something you could have paid. I mean, there's a client we did something like this. I mean, I think it was cost around 2 million Kenya shillings, to be honest. Like, we're talking of $20,000. There's a client we worked with. I just could be that is like 3 years ago. So this was expensive, man. Like things have really changed. So I just hope we also have a physical workshop coming. I hope all of you, we have some very consistent attendees for the webinar. I hope to meet you guys physically. Jonah, I know you're not in Kenya, so I know it might be a hard ask. Yeah, but we have an event coming. John, I hope I'll see you there. I hope you're in our community. We'll be sharing more details on that. So Alex, I see you. Alex is one of our clients. Shout out to you. Moses, I see you there. Any questions? Anybody will all comment inside? We'll be ready to take them and then we can finalize. I think it's almost top of the hour.